Fosi Audio ZA3 or V3 mono? No. V3 mono or ZA3? Well, if you are looking for this answer, you are in the right place, watching the right video. Plus, we are also to compare it with, of course, with different speaker, but also with other budget amplifier that I really love, like for example the Rotel A11 Tribute. Before to start, Fosi Audio sent me this amplifier, they sent me both, so thank you Fosi Audio. And of course they are not watching my video before I publish it, they cannot say nothing about the video, and I'm here to share with you guys my honest opinion about it. So where to start it? I got Fosi Audio products, the ZA3 since a long times, and I didn't review it for some reason that I will tell you just in a moment. I don't understand, they are desktop products, they are hi-fi products, because it looks like they have a lot of power, but they can be used as both, right? For sure a desktop, perfect for desktop solutions, because they are coming with this beautiful compact size. I think also that we are all agree about three things that are compact, are cheap, and they look really good, especially in the build quality. The V3 stereo, I review it, is my desktop solutions. I use it every day for editing and I just love it. It's small, it sounds great, and yes, I just love it. On the desktop I have a lot of things, right? I don't have so much space, so it's just perfect. And it's powering the beautiful, one of my favorite speaker, the Project Box 5 S2. A lot of you guys asked me to review the DS2, but unfortunately up now there is nothing coming, maybe in the future. Okay, let's move on immediately with the V3. V3 arrived to me in two different boxes, but I contacted Fosi about it, and it's possible that the final product it will be like not like that, because of course I received it before the release on the market to test it. It's coming with this, oh my god, this beefy power supply. Is big, is heavy. Look, this is the V3 mono, and this is the power supply. So the power supply is bigger than the unit itself. And actually the power supply of the V3 is bigger than the power supply of the ZA3. So here we have the V3 and here we have the ZA3 power supply that is smaller. Pretty heavy. This is 48 volt 10 ampere max, because it's powering the two V3 mono. And inside the box you will get also these adapter cables. So this is the output of the power supply cables, that is, yeah, half meter adapter, but the complete cables is maybe 1.5 meters. I didn't measure, but something like that. And here we go, you will have the two power supply output for both V3 mono. On the front we can find the input selections between RCA and XLR, and here we have on, off and auto. I generally leave it on auto because it's coming without trigger, right? So it's a feature that is working perfectly. I test it, I leave it on auto, and after, if I'm not wrong, 10 minutes it will go in standby if there is nothing on the input, and it's working really good. On the back we can find RCA and XLR input, of course, power supply input and speaker terminal output. Then the possibility to choose between 31 dB and 25 dB of gain, and here I generally let it on 31. So be careful to let this switch at the same gain, because it happened to me that one was at 25 and the other one at 31, and I got this strange imaging and I was saying, oh, what's happening here? ultra compact, same dimensions of the V3 stereo, but you will get these beautiful ventilations on the side that is similar of course to the Z83, so really beautiful, look amazing. I generally use the Winpro Plus connected directly to the V3 mono and use the remote control of the Winpro Plus or the app, but I also use the RME AD2 DAC just to give a little bit more quality compared to the Winpro Plus. So it's really look, they are designed for desktop solution, desktop purpose, but you can use it in hi-fi. But let's go back a little bit to the Z83 stereo. I tested both stereo and mono. And why I didn't review it? Well, I was so really busy in my reviews, and when I start to test the Z83, I find it something strange, something that it sounds okay for the money. Was really good for the money, especially for the power that is guys, I cannot believe how much power it can deliver such a small amplifier. But there was something strange with the Q-Acoustic 5040 that we just reviewed. In terms of fatigueness, was a little bit, the sound was not balanced. The Q-Acoustic 5040, if you saw my review, is a little bit spicy on the top end with a lot of details, and powered with the Z83 didn't help to make it a little bit balanced and neutral, let's say like that. And it's really interesting actually. Let's go to take a quick look of these measures. So here we have frequency response comparisons. I did a basic test, a very basic test. You can also do it at home if you have the UMIC 1 and Room Echo Wizard. So I let the speaker in the same positions, microphone in the same positions, and the only things that I did, I just changed the amplifier. So in this case we are going to do a frequency response check with 3 amplifiers. One is the V3 mono in green, the other one is the Rotel A11 Tribot in blue, and the Z83 in red. Comparing the 3 frequency response of the 3 amplifier, we can basically notice that the Z83 is a little bit hot between 2 and 6 kHz and will roll off faster after 10 kHz, where the V3 mono and the Rotel A11 are basically measuring the same frequency response. And this was the left speaker, and same things I noticed it also on the right speaker. So after 2 kHz the Z83 will start to go up and going down before the Rotel and the V3 mono after 10 kHz. And what's happening here, right? And this was strange because I did this, of course, these measures after my auditions of the Q-Acoustic, and yes, I didn't enjoy the Q-Acoustic with the Z83, and the same results I had it also with other speakers. Here we can see a frequency response check of the incoming review of the Bowers & Wilkins 606 S3. This time is a little bit different because we will not have this roller cost in the mid-range and the upper treble, but we have directly the Z83 having a more spicy upper mid and treble after 3 kHz, where the V3 mono it will be something between the Rotel and the Z83, so for sure better than the Z83 mono or stereo. Yes, is 1 dB, is not so much, but there is something that make it sounds a little bit different. So it definitely look like that the Z83 it has a low dependency, and the speaker match it will be a must with this amplifier. And nice to see that from my basic measures, also if basic, we saw that the V3 mono is for sure coming with a better linearity, thanks also to the PFFB technology implemented in this new power amplifier. So great engineering work from Fosi Audio, well done. V3 mono that will be available for a retail price around 280 bucks. Make it really affordable for the power. But how it sounds? The first thing that I will say that it has enough power to drive any speaker. I pushed the Q Acoustic 5040 without any problem. Second thing that I noticed is the pitch black background. So even amplifier at 1000, 2000 bucks, it could have a little bit of noise coming out from the tweeter. When you go closer, this nothing is completely pitch black. Another thing that impressed me so much is the transparency. Also compared to amplifier like the Rotel AF Tribute, we are far away in transparency. I mean, the V3 mono, it has a transparency that is closer to amplifier like the Musical Fidelity A1, for example. Also we review it, I will let it in descriptions. Transparency and textures is top. I couldn't believe how transparent and resolving it is, this amplifier. And this takes us also to the first cons for this amplifier, that is so much resolving that sometimes I notice it. For example, I was listening for some orchestra music with the Q Acoustic 5040, and when I try to crank up a little bit the volumes, I really notice it in not audiophile recording or maybe old orchestra recordings that brass instruments or violin starts to sound a little bit shrill, where for example the Rotel AF Tribute tends to give a little bit of smoothness and grain with a little bit of colorations, harmonic colorations that sounds definitely more enjoyable. So is really so much resolving that you could feel this in some bad recordings or old recordings. Instruments and voices are all well located in the soundstage that is huge. The soundstage is, oh my god, it's so big, so beautiful. Everything is so clear, everything is well placed in the space. And especially when I got a lot of instruments or vocal in the center imaging, sometimes, right, you have, for example, in jazz recording, you have drums on the right, bass on the left, but when you got everything in the middles together, well, the V3 mono did an amazing job to give separations to instruments and vocals, also if everything was in the center of the stage. So technically speaking, a 280 bucks power amplifier that is far superior in technical performance to amplifier like, for example, the Rotel AF Tribute, that is one of my favorite amplifier when I speaking about budget amplifier. Is everything perfect? Was everything perfect? Well, not really. There is something that I'm not sure if it is, and you have to tell me it is also, if it is something coming from my feelings about Class D. And I'm not speaking about musicality, because the musicality here is really good. I can believe that a Class D amplifier could sound so musical, but there is something in attack, quickness, something that every time I listening for a Class D amplifier, I have this feeling that it is slow. It's not the first times. I got the same feeling with the ZA3, and I got the same feeling when I try also another Class D amplifier from Technics, the C600, especially with the percussions, for example. Make it, probably, and yes, definitely the only cons in sound quality. Again, compared V3 mono with AF. I did a lot of comparisons with the AF. I didn't compare it 280 bucks of device with M3SI or A1, for example, that are far superior in price range. So I took my budget amplifier reference, that is the AF Tribute. And when I connected the Q Acoustic 5040, I noticed how the V3 mono, it could really handle and give grip to the woofers, where the AF Tribute didn't have this grip on the woofers of the 5040. Instruments and vocals are really so airy and beautiful. It doesn't sound as a $280 amplifier. I just can't believe it, how good it is for the money. Back on setup and connections, I connected all my cables, and guys, is so light and small that my cables basically push the V3 in these directions. They become a little bit pretty hot during the operations, and I measure on surface temperature around 40 degrees. Unfortunately, I didn't measure the bottom temperature because it should be higher, because we have here the heatsink with all the components. And yes, I really don't suggest to put nothing above the V3 mono. I really enjoy the V3 mono, and if they will be able to put everything in one chassis, guys, it will be so amazing for the hi-fi community, in my opinion, because it's nice to have such a compact device when you are needed for desktop solutions. But when you go on hi-fi, I want something all in one chassis, something that it will not stand up when you connect your cable and so on, right? Regarding the finish, it's beautiful, but is a little bit fingerprint. I mean, every time I put my finger on it, also the Z83, same things, a little bit, just a little bit. But it's really look really beautiful, and look also really solid to scratches and something like that. I had an amplifier with a retail price of $1,000 that I was touching, and you just see all the scratches, but not here. Look like it's a really solid finish. Final thought is impressive for the money. Can't believe that for $280 you can take it home something with this quality. Fosi audio, well done, well done. I really couldn't imagine that a Class D amplifier could sound so good. It is a bargain for me. From the audio is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this different review. I was maybe moving a little bit from one things to another, but if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment sections below, and hit the like buttons as always, and take in consideration to subscribe to my channels to keep me motivated to do what I'm doing. Peace and see you soon.